In July 2024, a stark warning reverberated from the heart of British military leadership. Sir Roly Walker, the newly appointed Chief of the General Staff, addressed a world that is, once again, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. In his very first public speech, Walker did not mince words. The United Kingdom must prepare for the possibility of a Third World War, a conflict that could ignite as soon as 2027. His message, urgent and clear, rippled through the corridors of power and across the international stage, prompting both alarm and sober reflection. Sir Roly Walker's warning is not a prediction of doom, but a recognition of the rapidly shifting global landscape. The current era is marked by the re-emergence of great power rivalry, with the spectre of widespread conflict no longer consigned to history books or distant nightmares. Instead, it looms uncomfortably close, fueled by escalating tensions and the complex interplay of national ambitions. Walker highlighted several converging threats. Foremost among them is Russia. The ongoing war in Ukraine has already redrawn the security map of Europe, and the United Kingdom's unwavering support for Ukraine has not gone unnoticed in Moscow. Regardless of how the conflict ultimately resolves, Walker cautions that Russia, emboldened and potentially seeking retribution, could pose a direct threat to the UK and its allies. The British military, therefore, must be ready, not just to deter, but to respond if provoked. Yet Russia is not the only concern. Walker pointed to the growing alignment between several of the world's most formidable states. China, with its explicit goal of reclaiming Taiwan, has become increasingly assertive in the Asia-Pacific region. Iran, meanwhile, continues its pursuit of nuclear capabilities, raising the risk of a broader conflict in the Middle East. North Korea remains unpredictable, its arsenal growing and its rhetoric undiminished. According to Walker, these nations are forging a mutual transactional relationship, sharing weapons, technology, and intelligence. By 2027 or 2028, he warns, this convergence may reach a critical mass, creating a bloc of adversaries whose combined power would be difficult for any country to confront alone. In response to these risks, Sir Roly Walker has set forth a strategic imperative for the United Kingdom. Equip the British Army with the tools, technology, and manpower necessary to mount a credible deterrent. This means a rapid modernization of military forces, with an emphasis on smart weapons, drones, multi-warhead missiles, and advanced surveillance systems. The goal is not simply to match potential adversaries, but to ensure that any attempt at aggression would be met with a formidable and technologically advanced response. Walker's vision extends beyond hardware and headcount. He calls for a transformation of military doctrine, training, and readiness. The British Army's current strength, numbering around 72,000 soldiers, must be expanded and its operational capabilities enhanced. This will require significant investment, not just in equipment, but in people. The armed forces must be adaptable, agile, and prepared for the unpredictable nature of modern warfare, where cyber attacks, information manipulation, and rapid technological change are as decisive as tanks or fighter jets. For the United Kingdom, the stakes are high. The prospect of a Third World War is not inevitable, Walker insists, but complacency is not an option. The next 3 years will be crucial. The nation must navigate a delicate balance, demonstrating strength and resolve without provoking unnecessary escalation, shoring up alliances while retaining the flexibility to act independently if necessary. Walker's warning also carries a broader message for the international community. The interconnectedness of today's threats means that no nation can afford to act in isolation. The consolidation of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea into a potentially cooperative bloc presents a challenge that extends far beyond Britain's shores. It demands a global response, one rooted in shared values, mutual defense, and a commitment to upholding international norms. The urgency of this moment is compounded by the realities of defense funding and political will. Britain, like many nations, faces fiscal constraints that threaten to limit its military ambitions. Projects such as the Tempest fighter jet, developed in collaboration with Italy and Japan, may be at risk if resources are stretched too thin. Walker's challenge to policymakers is clear. The cost of preparedness pales in comparison to the consequences of unpreparedness. As the world stands at this crossroads, the lessons of history are ever present. The First and Second World Wars both began with a failure to recognize the signs of impending catastrophe, a reluctance to believe that widespread conflict could engulf the world again. Walker's address serves as a reminder that peace is not merely the absence of war, but the result of constant vigilance, investment, and the collective determination to prevent aggression from taking hold. For the British public, these developments may seem distant, overshadowed by the concerns of daily life. Yet the implications are profound. National security is not just a matter for soldiers and statesmen, it is the foundation upon which society rests. The freedoms, prosperity, and stability enjoyed by millions are underpinned by the ability of the nation to defend itself and its interests. The next steps, therefore, are critical. The British Army will accelerate its modernisation, investing in the technologies that will define future battlefields. Recruitment and training will intensify, ensuring that the forces are not only larger, but more capable and resilient. Diplomacy and alliance building will take on renewed importance, as Britain works with partners across Europe, North America, and beyond to counter the emerging threats. At the same time, efforts will continue to prevent conflict from breaking out in the first place. Deterrence is as much about credibility as capability. By demonstrating preparedness and resolve, the United Kingdom hopes to convince potential adversaries that the costs of aggression are simply too high to bear. So Roly Walker's warning does not guarantee that war will come, but it does demand that the nation be ready if it does. The years leading up to 2027 will test the resolve, ingenuity, and unity of the United Kingdom and its allies. In the face of uncertainty, preparation is the surest path to peace. The world watches, waits, and hopes that the lessons of history and the warnings of today will be heeded before it is too late.